myself, I'm also the ex-co-founder of Game Studio, and I have done some advisory with some teams in Europe and helped them on their journey to become complete game development studios. We are also a mobile game development studio focusing on hyper-casual and educational. I will be talking about how to manage game development studio and most importantly what to focus. I know most of the founders in this area are coming from either gaming background, tech background or art background, and the management part is often overlooked and somewhat overwhelming to the founders. And in this brief presentation I would like to give a brief understanding of the strategic business thinking perspective and what to focus for, especially for hyper-casual studios in that regard. So the first part of the presentation will be a generic business principles about structuring a strategy. First of all, before creating any business, you need to focus on industry and understand the industry that you are working in. Understand the key stakeholders like the developers, the publishers, the market, the consumers, the people that give ads to the publishers, and that's called the value chain. What is a value chain? Value chain is something that a company offers, not only the company but the stakeholders in the industry offers to the vast majority of the consumers. So each product and each industry has initially a value proposition. For example, Coca-Cola has a value proposition that it's a tasty drink, it's a fresh drink, you can find the exact taste in Japan, in America, in USA. Consistency is also a part of the value proposition of Coca-Cola. Understand the value chain in the industry and where do you fit in that picture. Also, how is the value added in each step? Like development, what does the developer do, what does the publisher do, what does the mediation agencies do, and other stakeholders. And decide where you fit in that picture. Understand your competitors, they don't have to be exactly the direct competitors, but they are actually your competitors if they are doing the same thing with you. Understand their business model and try to understand how they do business and observe how they contribute to the value chain. And by business model, I don't want to get too much into detail, but to simplify it as I can, every business consists of two parts. One revenue stream, where you gain money, where you earn money, and a cost structure, where you spend money. So it's a balancing, the business model is a process that's balancing between those two aspects. Observe how your competitors are contributing to that value chain, and also research different practices and approaches in that area. So you can find a unique strength to overcome that competition. Then you need to have a plan. Determine the milestones that you need to have, you need to pass, and create a roadmap which will enable you to pass those milestones. Like for example, if you're a new team, you will need to found your studio, you need to find some agreements, you may plan to have agreements with publishers, you may need to test your game, then hopefully make a hit game. And create a roadmap that you can pass those milestones step by step. And also think how you can get ahead of the competition. The business plan. As I said, this is all generic for any business and it's a really simplified model. Determine your needs and what you need to do. Like, what you need to do is you need to find some people. An example is you need to find a team, you need to find developers, and what you need to achieve that. Determine your needs exactly. And two things to focus on, your cost structure and your revenue stream. How do you earn money, how do you spend money, and how can you optimize those two things. Then form your strategy. This strategy part consists of the how question. How are you going to execute your plan? How are you going to find new team members? How are you going to get new deals? How are you going to release your game? How are you going to develop your game? And how are you going to optimize your business model? You have come up with a business model, and now you need to optimize it. And think about how to optimize it. How are you going to create and deliver, and also split value with your partners? For example, the publishers or the mediation agencies. Things to focus on. As I said, really simplify, find out what factors are affecting your revenue stream the most. Don't focus on small things, find out what factors are affecting your revenue stream the most. This may be deal you made with the publisher, this may be the number of trials, number of games you test on the market, and find out what factors are affecting your cost structure. For hyper-casual game development, yeah, especially in Turkey, it's not that important because the cost structure will be costs consisting of salaries and software. But also focus on those two. And find out what are the most important factors that are affecting your business. Don't focus on immaterial factors that don't really influence your business model. I have heard some stories that people trying to develop a financial reporting model just from the start, just because they can exit, they can have a smooth exit like in 5 years or 10 years period of time. Don't do that mistake. Don't focus on things that don't really matter now. It can be really solved with an outside agency. You can go to a Big Four company and they can arrange your financials in 3 months. Don't focus on that. Focus what is most important for you. And don't waste time on something just because of the spending time on it. Think carefully. Time is your most valuable asset. One other thing to focus is to spend time on identifying the risks. Think of it that way. What has changed in the past? Like, what created the hyper-casual industry? What changed in the gaming industry as in general? And what can change in the future? Like, briefly, hyper-casual industry, as you know, started in 2009 when Apple allowed in-app purchases for free-to-play games. This shifted some previously paid titles like Temple Run or Angry Birds to free model, and they were focusing on in-app purchases, but they gained a vast amount of user base and they found another way to monetize them, and then we come up with a new hyper-casual business model that you distribute your product to a vast audience and use it as an advertising medium. And just as it happened, it can also be changed from day to night, just as it happened by Apple, for example. And what will you do if that happens? The answer is actually not that hard, but remember that everything can change, and change can happen really fast from today to yesterday, today to tomorrow, and you may not have time to plan for and react for that change. So you need to have a structure that is agile. First, try to lead that change. Change is inevitable. If something can be more efficient, it will be more efficient in time. Think of the hexagonal beehives. It eventually became more efficient. And if something can be more efficient, it will be more efficient within time. If you cannot lead that change, you cannot find the most efficient way to do things, to do business, then try to adapt to the change. As written on here, change is not always in your hands, and you need to have a structure which enables you to react to that change with success. So about hyper-casual. Hyper-casual industry is a very fast-paced industry with stiff competition, and its product is focused on a creative process. What do I mean by creative product? You design the product really fast, you develop the product really fast, and you test innovative, hopefully innovative, not a copycat product. And from that, let's think of it like a funnel, and we get down to the two core things: reliability and speed. Reliability in production and speed in production. One other thing is creativity. So how can you be creative? How can you be reliable and speed up your development process? You need great talent. It's a talent-focused industry, and you need smart processes. This will lead you to eventually, hopefully, success. Always, chance is a factor in everything in life. There is the chance factor, but if you have a great plan, like you are trying, testing good hit potential games again and again and again with good publishers, eventually and hopefully you will have a hit game. So hyper-casual success factors: solid IP generation and quality product development. Then some meticulous testing. This part is often done by publishers, but if you are a self-publishing firm, or if you want to test your product first before going to the publisher, you need to have a meticulous testing done for your product. Then delivered publishing phase, data-driven monetization, and data-driven user acquisition. sustainability. And sustainability and scalability is two key factors in business. It's the most important factors because if you cannot sustain a business, it's not worth investing in. If it's not capable of scaling, it's not worth investing. As I said, solid idea generation, product development, and meticulous testing. Ask yourself this if you are doing something like developing a game. Do I need to do this once, twice, a few times, or do I have to do this continuously? Like you have to find ideas, game ideas. Do you need to do this once or continuously? You have to find game ideas continuously. Also, you need to eliminate those ideas. You need to select ideas within that pool of ideas. If you are doing this continuously, then you should make it a process. A process where you can generate ideas, where you can select ideas, and for development, the quality product development process. And for the testing, also a process. Test your games, but within that process. If something is influencing your cost structure or your revenue structure materially, that's a focal point. You need to focus on that. And if you need to do that something all the time, continuously, that should be a process. Then you need to design that process upfront. So, key takeaway points like understand your industry, know your business, determine what tasks should be processes, and plan your workflow accordingly. One other thing, as I said, is scalability. If something is not scalable, no one will want to invest in that. Ask yourself this question: can you increase capacity by investing in your workforce? For example, you are a team of 4 people and one additional 3D artist, for example. Would that increase your capacity? If you are making 2 games in 1 month, adding 2 members, will it affect your number of games produced per month? If so, and if that's an achievable thing, then you need to do it. In a nutshell, your workflow should be sustainable, meaning it should allow you to complete the processes indefinitely. Your workflow should be scalable, meaning it should be able to handle growth and generate higher returns through investment. One last thing before we go to the hypotheticals, optimization and automation is another factor for scalability, sustainability, and efficiency. You can automate things in your processes, and that will also increase your efficiency and will help you sustain your business. So for hyper-casual, as I said, most important cost item in your list will be the salaries. That's because that's a talent-focused industry, and you need to focus on human resources management. You are working with people, you need to understand their needs, what their needs will be in the future, and if you should be able to give those people what they need. And you need to have a business model that also enables them to have their needs satisfied well in the future. Focus on efficient creative process design. As I said, hyper-casual game design is a creative process, but it's a process. You need to design that process that enables you to find creative ideas and also select creative ideas. You will need to focus on your project management. That's somewhat overlooked part of the hyper-casual game development. You need to focus on that too. You need speed, you need quality, and reliability is key for success. Always optimize based on your data and feedback. And what I mean by that, as the leader also mentioned in his presentation, you need to be able to iterate your business model based on data and feedback. And how do you do this? You will determine some key performance indicators for your business. For example, what can it be? Number of games produced per developer, for example. Determine some KPIs for your business that fits your business model and monitor them closely and try to improve those KPIs in your business. If you have any questions, I can answer them, or you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn, Discord, or through email. I'll try to answer as I can.
Right, again, thank you. Any questions? I was thinking, it looks like you developed really strong methods for each and every aspect of this matters. What would be the best resources and maybe books that for someone who is not familiar with those things for to learn?
Well, there are many resources, but they're on separate topics. So, for hyper-casual game development, I would suggest Clinton Cates, that's focused on project management, more often than not, but it's Clinton Cates, Agile Project Management using Scrum for Game Development. That's a great book that teaches how to adapt Scrum methodologies, the Agile principle-based project management methodologies, Scrum to game development. And it's really good because I know some studios that try to directly adapt Scrum. Scrum is a methodology that came up from a software as a service business, and it's more fitting for those kind of businesses. And it's used by users. When the product is used by users and the features requested is clear, it's a great approach. It's a great method to use. But for games, you don't know your users, and your users will not tell you that I want this player to jump this height. You will need to determine those. So I really suggest the Clinton Cates book on that matter. It really helps.
Got it. And how much you think a person should master the aspects of scalability before they start their own company, let's say?
Scalability should always be in your mind when you're starting your business, because, as I said, if a business is not scalable, no one will want to invest in it. If it's only generating some revenue, people will go to Coca-Cola and invest in Coca-Cola for the same revenue. You need to grow your business, you need to scale your business, and you need to plan your business keeping scalability in mind. But how much you should focus on that, how much time you should spend on it, it's almost always up to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.